Hey guys, Dazzler Magic here, and WOTC has another victim. Well, indirectly, but if you believe what they're saying at face value, it is mostly Wizards' fault. So unfortunately, there's a website called CardSphere, and they are going out of business. So what they would do is for $5 they'd mail you a big ball of cards. Just kidding. They've been around for about 6 years, and they just announced very recently, just a couple days ago, that they are shutting down their business and their website, basically. So this is the first I've ever heard of them, which I'll get to why that's probably a problem later. You can probably already infer why that might be. But I'll blow through the statement real quick and then get into a little bit more detail about what I think they're not telling us. So, one of the three founders, owners, partners, whatever, Ted Rodney, wrote, "It's with heavy hearts today that we announced that CardSphere will be shutting down November 1st, 2023. For the last 6 years, our small team has done our best to provide a meaningful alternative to larger peer-to-peer marketplaces. Unfortunately, we have not been able to grow CardSphere to where we need to be in order to continue. Increased frequency and breadth of releases from WOTC greatly disadvantages smaller teams. The work required to keep the card database current as well as customer service effort is now quadruple, guys, what it was when CardSphere first launched. In addition to the ever-increasing hours required of the team, most of our costs have been going up. And having never reached critical mass, we are simply unable to sustainably operate this way. So rather than waiting for a breaking point, the team had made the difficult decision to cease operations. They will be handled with a controlled shutdown." And then they give the timeline. August 31st was the cutoff. They will no longer allow signups of new users. And then it's like, foreign, domestic, and then all outstanding trade disputes and all this going up to November 1st. So WOTC is releasing so many products so quickly with so many card variants and variations that it's hard to add new products to the website. And think about it. You'd have like 282 cards, some foil, some not, and maybe some silly little thing thrown in, masterpieces or whatever. Now you fast forward, we got this version, that retro, this Japanese, but not Japanese language, but then we do have the Japanese language one, but it's regional, but it looks the same and runs the same number. Utterly impossible to keep up with. So if they're having to work more hours and hire more staff just to maintain it while their expenses are going up and the number of people joining and number of trades are not, get out before it's dire. I probably should have closed my business like 6 months to a year before I did. I held on way too long. I don't know what I was thinking there. Cost me a lot of money. Now, I've heard that they've had to revamp card websites like Channel Fireball, Card Kingdom, and other major ones to be compatible with what's WOTC doing now? Oh, well, this has a variant, but it's got the same name as something, but it looks different. And this one has this symbol, but then people keep sending in the wrong cards, the wrong values and stuff on buy lists, and then they got to write back to them and say, hey, this isn't actually the card you think it was. Oh, it's getting so bad. And then serialized cards, well, now you've got unique one-of-a-kind ones. How do you do that? And how do you price 420 and 69 or higher, ha ha ha. How do you handle that? You can't just not sell them, you can't just ignore them. You got to sit there and recode your website and add for all these variances, and it's just getting outrageous. And I heard that the companies behind the big sellers are pissed. And all of this complexity for nothing because the number of active users and just overall customers is going down. So everybody's in the same boat right now, except the smaller guys are getting absolutely nuked by it. Because it costs everybody about the same to put the cards in and organize them and put them in a database and all that. But you only need one person to do it one time. So if you have $1 million a day in sales or something outrageous like that, well, you can expense that pretty easily. So I've never heard of this place, and that's a problem. If it's been 6 years and the first time I heard the name CardSphere is when they're shutting down, they messed up. I know most of the sellers. Remember, I'm not just a YouTuber who talks about Magic and has for the last 11 years. I used to buy and sell lots of cards. So I'm looking at Puka, I'm looking at Card Shark, I'm looking at all the fringe ones and for what's their benefit? Could I make money here? Can I do a buyout and a speculation here versus how hard would it be here? What's the best website for this? What's this new up and coming thing that I can shout out? I have never heard of this. Now I thought, let's have a little fun. Let's type CardSphere into my comment search all time. 4 years ago, somebody posted, CardSphere has treated me well so far. And you could obviously trust Bacon Bombs MTG 2384. That name's just based as hell. Then we had somebody else saying buy and sell your cards on CardSphere, with really odd capitalization. It was I don't think any of these were sock puppet accounts, but I hate to say it, they probably should have done like oh, I'm totally not related, wink wink nod nod, people mentioning it, or get like their friends and family to do it, whatever's legal in their country. And I do believe 2 of the founders are Canadian, one of them is American, I think. So let's see. Somebody else said CardSphere is way better than Puka, and that was on my video 5 years ago about Puka Trade, which is now defunct because the designers and owners of that did not know how to do math, had no idea what they're doing, and it was basically the Fire Festival of the Magic the Gathering card exchange world. And I think 2 other people actually in that video specifically mentioned CardSphere, so they had been around for like a little over a year at that point, give or take. And then nobody talked about it since, so I don't know anything about them, but I kind of just Googled around and it doesn't seem like too many people have anything bad to say about them. So they were well liked, they had a good community, they had a fantastic business model. Actually, let me get into that real quick. So how they would work is you would say, well, I'm willing to buy this card, but I'll pay 92% of its average value. And so if a seller comes in and they go, okay, one guy's 88, one guy's 90, one guy's 91, one guy's 92, I'll sell to 92. And then the card might drop. There's a reprint set coming up, sure. Or like, you know what? We got 8 of them. Let's see what we can do. And then I think the sellers could come in and say, you know what? I bought this card for $2. I'm just going to put in a listing for 300% because I think this is going to go up, sort of the Animist spec or something. And if it does go up, then it'll sell. So if that sounds exactly like pretty much any currency exchange, crypto exchange, securities thing, stocks, yeah, sell points. I guess they didn't do stop losses. Building, price walls, I guess, effectively. And I doubt they had like a real-time thing with candles on it, you know what I mean? But that just sounded like the greatest idea ever for investors, for sellers, for people just looking for deals. Oh my gosh. And everything was peer-to-peer, so it's seller to buyer. They don't, have a warehouse full of cards or nothing, so real easy, cheap to operate. But then why were they so small? Now, how do I have these numbers? It's because I looked at how many people viewed their instructional video. 1,800. That sounds like a lot. It's been out for 4 years, and they have less than 100 subscribers on YouTube. That is bad. Channel Fireball could fart into a mic and get 30,000 people watching it. So if you can get away with it, pay people to mention it, get friends, family to mention it, sock puppet accounts. A lot of that actually is illegal, but people do it anyway. I don't see any mention of, hey, use my link to sign up for CardSphere. So what, no referral program? I mean, I don't know, like they're shutting down and I have very little information about it, but clearly they did some things wrong. So let me speculate on this as a former, MTG card buyer and seller, MTG news follower and reporter, and multi-time small business owner. I think I've got some insights. Why didn't you do quote unquote influencer marketing? Let's call it what it is, like YouTubers shouting it out that do Magic content. Did they just do no marketing? Did they start the business without the budget for marketing and then not take out a loan? Like, I have a lot of questions, but whatever they did, it was wrong. It wasn't enough. It wasn't planned enough. It wasn't funded enough, or it didn't target the right anything. Number one best thing you can do as a small company is go to small to mid-sized YouTubers and offer them just low 3 digits. I mean, to advertise on my channel right now, I would expect for like a 1 to 2 spot upfront, no commission, probably $200-300 tops. On my new channel, I'm getting offers to like review a knife or something for like 100, 1 to 200. And that thing only has 5,000 subs, and my average upload gets like 600 views, when my good uploads get 100,000 views. Oh, if you haven't been watching it, yeah, we're doing pretty good over there. So what you have to do when you start a business is determine how much are you willing to pay to buy a customer, just straight up per customer, how much can you afford to buy it, and then build it into the fee structure and the margins and all that. And then just go to town as heavy as you can get, scale up without destroying your thing or, effectively DDoSing yourself. Have a scalable website, all that. Have scalable staff, hire people, have a plan, But if you just say, well, we can pay $3 per user because the average user will make this in this amount of time, we can recover the money in this and then reinvest it. And we're good with $3 a head, $1 a head, $50 a sign up. And by the way, the going rate for getting somebody to sign up for a random credit card is about 40 to 85, depending upon your scale. That means that the credit card companies will make an average of more than that on the average person, significantly more. You're not trying to break even, you're trying to make money, You're not just trying to spend $1 million on advertising and then make $1 million back and say, yay, we did a thing. And then you go to customer service margin, do all the numbers, all that. Let's just assume they did that. Well, then why didn't they come to me, come to Cinder, come to anybody in between, MTG Purple, all that? Why didn't they offer them a sponsorship? I never heard from them. Maybe they just don't like me. Maybe they haven't heard of me. Maybe they thought advertising on YouTube doesn't work or something, which, yeah, advertising directly on YouTube doesn't work. Going to a very specific handpicked person and doing it. But maybe for various reasons they just didn't want to do that. So I mean, I'm not saying, oh, they should have came to me and they would have succeeded. No, that's not it at all. I mean, that is absolutely provably true, and I would have accepted their thing. But I'm just saying, like, you drop a couple $100 and you could get 1,000 new signups. The other thing is you could just spend zero. Make sure that your advertising budget is when somebody signs up and deposits money into the account, we're going to make X off of fees and transaction fees, whatever. So just set it 3% below eBay and TCG Player to remain ultra competitive, and you'll just be the place to sell at. And then just start telling people, hey, for every sign up, we'll give you X amount of dollars, or we'll give you, for the first 3 months that their account is active, we'll give you 25% of all the fees we collect, or, whatever. Basically a cut based on activity that scales exactly perfectly with expenses and with income. It's not, let's spend $1,000 on this advertising campaign and hope that they show up and make money. Oh no, everybody stayed for 3 seconds and then it was a bunch of fake signups and oh no. Or 3 people clicked on the link because they read the ad spot really insincerely and just collected a paycheck like most YouTubers do. If you give me a vested interest, I'm going to sell it, okay? If you give me an ad to read for $500, I'm going to do that. But if you say the more I sell, the more I make, oh, your boy just got recruited. Into the AM, I make percentages, straight up based on sales. People use my code and shopped within, I believe, 30 days of clicking on the link it is. And then they also paid me per ad spot. And that I guess people are going to ask, they've been asking. There's no drama, nothing happened between us. It wasn't as profitable as it used to be. So they just went to other places for ad campaigns. I still have an active account with them. They're still paying me and I'm still getting sales actually from old videos, but they're not doing the, hey, we'll pay you X per spot, X per month. Here's the budget, go to town. Because that either wasn't profitable or it wasn't profitable enough compared to their other sources. So right now, if I wanted to put an Into the AM link and ad and all that in here, which I'm not going to, I would make X percent, not a very high percent, on all sales. I make like $3 to $5 per sale, roughly, somewhere in the neighborhood. But they were paying me like $200 to $400 per month, depending upon what month it was and the performance of the ones the last month, just to do like an evergreen link and get a bomb viral video and just get clicks for the next 10 years. And then, that's hard to do. Now, let's go to the opposite. I'm not going to say who it was, but they said, we'll just send you one, and then you just have to show it in a 60-second spot. And that was it. Link to it. Didn't care how the link did. Didn't care how many people clicked on it. I mean, I'm sure they did, but it didn't matter to me because they just sent me one. No money exchange hands, nothing. They just shipped it to my house, and I just had to show it off. Still use it. Still intact. Still working to this day. Very high quality. I will stand by it. But why am I not telling you what it was? Because they aren't paying me to tell you what it is, and I don't get a percentage of every sale. So you pay me once to read an ad, that goes one way, and you don't know how it's going to go. Is it going to explode? Is it going to do nothing? Is it going to fall flat? Are people just going to fast forward the video? Nobody knows. But let's go to the opposite, Gray Vikings Games. All they do is sell MTG Arena codes. They sent a thing out to every MTG YouTuber they could possibly find, one at a time by hand. It's just like one dude, he runs it, nice guy. And yeah, arena codes go for like $4, $5, $6. He had like next to no budget. He's not going to dump $50K into a marketing push. But it was pure commission, so I mentioned it like once or twice a month for a while. And yeah, I was making pretty good money, getting good commissions and stuff. It's pure commission. I actually care, but I looked at it and I'm like, oh, this is like a cool website. And I talked to the dude and he seemed really nice. And there you go. A little extra money in my pocket for just telling people, hey, this thing exists, go there. Because I know a certain percentage of you will. Last I heard, he's doing pretty well. He literally spent $0 on marketing and he only pays us if a sale is made. That is how you succeed in a small Magic the Gathering business, by having YouTubers promote your stuff. So whatever they did instead, they did it wrong. I think that's the critical thing, because they would have hit critical mass and they would have said, wow, yeah, sales are down and expenses are up and inflation and labor costs and but we're 100 times bigger than we were 4 years ago. So you know what? We already employ 20 people, like that's just how you would do it. Okay, well, we'll just up our percentages by 1% and put it into people data entering once every 10 days or whatever it is when a new Magic product comes out. That would not have been devastating. So they didn't grow fast enough. And I guess I was going to say, like, To me, it looks like they went international way too quick, but if they're already from Canada, and I don't know what countries were included. But man, that business model. So last thing I'm going to say is they should sell it. They may have shopped around. They didn't really say. Well, usually what you do is you sell it, then you just say, we're under new management, we sold it, yay, cool. And then I was trying to think of the term, but you would basically sell it to not really a venture capitalist, but pretty much the same thing. Not an angel investor, not a scavenger, there's all these terms. I can't think of the one that is, where they come in and just throw money at whatever problem you're having and then fix it because it's a really good, smart business model. They're like business flippers. They're the refurbishers or whatever. Yeah. This business model and this idea of how to sell based on percentages and make it look like a buying and selling thing, or like a crypto exchange kind of, I should say, where you're like, I'll put in a buy offer at 98%, and if it drops, I've got it. But then I've also got a sell order on this card on 104, except it is physical cards, there is shipping, and it's a whole real big thing. To me, that sounds like the best, fairest way to do it unless you've got crazy volume. Like TCG Player, you go look, or eBay, just look at the sold history for 90 days, you'll find out exactly what it sold for. But they had better analytics on this website. They had better graphs and historic and 90 days worth of sales and is it going up, is it down, trends, all that stuff. They had a community thing. These guys knew what they were doing with, I guess, everything but marketing. I don't know. But man, I looked at the basics of how this works. Somebody better buy this company. And I'm telling you, what you usually do is you look at their annual income, you look if their chart's going up or down, you look at how much you're going to make over the X amount of days or years, and then you pay them a multiplier of that times 1 year. That just is how a business acquisition works. So this one, it's going downward. It would be like liquidate, whatever. But I think basically regardless of anything else, the code, the website, and the idea, and any relevant patents or anything, and the name, probably easily worth $50,000 US. Easily. My guess would be higher. I think they could get closer to $1 million for it, honestly. Now, there is the factor that Magic is absolutely dying. Everything's going down. It's going into a giant lull, and WOTC shows no sign of fixing it. But these people had stated that they wanted to expand into other TCGs in the future, and then they just didn't. But I'm telling you, you tell me this doesn't sound like a good idea. They take PayPal and credit cards. There's a 10% fee when you withdraw funds, so there's that. The sender pays shipping, so the shipping is built into the cost of the card. And opening an account is free, and funding your account is free, and there's no fee on funding. If you send them $20, you get $20 in your account. Selling fees are 3%. If I knew about this, I'd be selling on it tomorrow. If I would have heard about this last week and didn't know they were closing, I'd be like, let's go. And remember, I've sold upwards of $500,000 worth of cards in my entire life. So if I just read the terms, I'm like, well, that's better than eBay and TCG Player and Card Shark and everywhere else. Yeah, sign me up. Oh, and it works like a stock market and the values go up and down, so I'm guaranteed to get a realistic top value? Yeah. And if I'm a buyer, it's basically like those bots that run around on eBay and go, will you take 85% for this card? And someone's like, the card's been posted for 90 days, fine. I'll take lower, I just want it to cycle out of my inventory, fine. Except automatically, because that's how the entire website works. You can just go down your entire inventory, get a report, and be like, well, we got somebody willing to pay 82%, 88%. You know what? I am willing to get rid of this whole thing because there's a new set coming out. I need some funds. I got to buy it. Oh, man, it's just such a good idea. So it's a shame they're shutting down. I don't know. Maybe there's some drama. Maybe who knows. Based on what I can approximate on the size, how much buzz there is online, how many views to their thing, I have a basic idea of how big their company was, and I think them saying their company isn't big enough and it's getting more time consuming and complex while hosting and labor and everything else is going up, yeah. But my gosh, guys, do not just shut this down. Hell, I'm tempted to buy this company. I got a lot going on right now, but look, I'm not going to go into details, but I could throw 5 digits of money at this right now without even blinking. If you're on my live stream, yes, right before midnight, they signed and sent the contract, so I'm, I guess hood rich? I ain't rich if I told you the dollar amount, but yeah, I've been busting my butt, literally, sitting down way too much, hurting my back, working a separate IT job on top of the other IT job that I'm working. One's consulting, though. It's a very big contract, and I work the first part for free to undercut everybody else. I'm just let me do the first 10% completely for free. If you like my work and the rate I do it, pay me the rest. Literally cannot lose. Absolutely aced it. That's why I haven't been making many videos lately. So I'm not going to, despite my web design and software engineering degree. I know, funny. I would buy this right now, $10,000, $20,000. I'm not going to, But just like if situations and circumstances in my health and a bunch of other projects and stuff going on right now were different, I would be like, dude, I'll make out like a bandit buying this out. Come on. But I need $100,000 in marketing push and just like, hiring programmers downtime, then getting everybody back and gaining trust. And I just got too much going on. And I would never do that with the direction Magic's going. Absolutely not. But man, some investment company, I'm just saying, they better be shopping this around. I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know who these guys are. Never talked to them. But if they're watching this video, I'd strongly recommend it. And I guess last thing, this doesn't appear to be any kind of marketing stunt. They appear to already be shutting down. It's already determined. So they could still sell it off, turn it around, whatever, but new signups were discontinued already. So if you're like, no, they're just getting all the news to cover it now. First of all, one person tipped me off about this and nobody else is talking about it. And I only started looking into the story because it's, WOTC complexity and product fatigue is actually literally making it too expensive to run a card selling website. And that was the hook. And then I looked into this. I'm like, this is a shame. Maybe all three people behind it are terrible people, okay? I have no idea. But it's just, WOTC killed them by making the game less popular, by upping the complexity in the versions and driving everybody nuts and driving out the little guy because, but still, no excuse for operating for 6 years and being this small. Sorry. Hate to hit you with the harsh reality, but whatever you didn't do it right. But these guys seem pretty cool. They're like, hey, if there's any kind of ongoing thing, we're going to go into dispute or freeze it or refund it or whatever. If you got any money in your account, we're going to refund it straight to your PayPal with your email that's on file. So like they're doing the right thing, and yeah, it's really a shame because I mean at 3% fees minus shipping, like I would I would cease shipping on eBay, I should say, in a heartbeat to sell hair. They're hitting me for like $14.9 on eBay. It's an outrageous percentage, and that's before shipping. So I'm sure I don't need to say it, but if you had any interactions with this, did you like it? The most negative thing I could hear is like it had a confusing interface and somebody ended up buying or selling like the wrong version of a card or something. They got like a more expensive alternate, but that was on them, and that's just them being confused by the multiple, fragmented versions, which is also still WOTC's fault. But man, they should have hit up YouTubers to market it. They should have hit up like MTG bloggers. They should have just, $50 sponsored post one time Twitter, just real little whatever. People do it. I showed you the numbers. I told you what they were for my other smaller channel, my even smaller channel, and this one. I think the highest rate I ever got is maybe 800 for a sponsor spot, and that was nuts. And I have in the past, if I believe in it and think it'll work and think it's a good product, I'll just do it for free and take a percentage, which scales perfectly. There's no reason not to do it that way. I guess these guys weren't really business geniuses, and it's just unforgivable that I have never heard the name of this website until they're going out of business. That's like there being a restaurant in town, and I'm like, oh, I've never heard of that, which... Yep, actually, that has happened multiple times. And I said, where is it? And the person goes, I actually don't know. I've never been there. And I'm like, well, I wonder why they closed. And then they're like, all my friends are telling me it's so great, but I've never been there and I don't know where it is. Yep, that's why that happened. So not much more to say. But yeah, if you had any interaction with them, good or bad, and we're in the middle, let me know. If you have any other information, leave it down in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.